Watch when Caitlin Clark is trying to create some space. It looked like she just got hit in the eye there.
Ooh, and Marina Mabry. I missed that one, Idona.
Oh, I missed that one too. Yeah, it looked like Caitlin got hit hard, both by J.C. Sheldon and Marina Mabry there.
I would not be surprised if there is an elevation here in the call. Marina Mabry kind of blindsided Clark there, and they're going to take a look.
Caitlin Clark attacked on the court again. When is this going to stop? Is it ever going to stop? When are we going to realize what is really going on and the jealousy that these WNBA girls have for Caitlin Clark? What's up, everybody? It's Coach Kev. Caitlin Clark, here we go again. Back at it. Going against another team. They're attacking her, antagonizing, pushing, bumping, doing a little extra, more than competitiveness. They are being very, very extra with Caitlin Clark. We are seeing it with our own two eyes. It's continuing to happen. How do we stop it? Is it going to stop? Is this just how the WNBA is going to continue to react to Caitlin Clark as long as she is a part of the league? Here's Rich Eisen, somebody who keeps it real, talking about the situation between Caitlin Clark, the other players, talk about this whole situation. Let's see where the WNBA is going. Let's see where it's headed.
Last night in Indianapolis, my phone starts lighting up during the first period of the Stanley Cup final, Game 6, that the Panthers, as we all know, won to win the championship in the season and all that stuff. I'm seeing Caitlin Clark go at it with a former Big Ten rival, one might say, in J.C. Sheldon, who at one point tells Caitlin Clark, "You can't do that." And Clark says back to her, clearly, if you read lips, "I can do whatever the F I want," is what she says to her. And that was first half. Second half, you're seeing on the screen here the moment where Caitlin Clark has what appears to be poked eyes from Sheldon guarding her. And she shoves Sheldon back, at which point Marina Mabry of the Connecticut Sun comes in and just shoves her, like decks her to the ground, right to the floor. And we're playing the feud on a Tuesday night in the WNBA. And it's on. And the officials give a tech to Sheldon for poking Clark, and then they give a tech to Clark for shoving Sheldon, and Mabry doesn't get ejected. I mean, she just came in, third woman in, shoved Clark to the floor, and she doesn't get the gate.
So let's put this in NBA terms, because this seems very ridiculous. So a player is dribbling the ball, another player defending them, pokes him in the eye, gives him a little bump. So the player who got poked in the eye bumps that player back. Then the defender's teammate comes in as a third party and pushes that offensive player to the floor. This is exactly what would happen in the NBA. Player one that did the poking, technical foul. Player two that got poked but pushed the player back, technical foul. Player three that had nothing to do with the situation but comes in and wants to, this is what the NBA calls escalating the situation, pushes the offensive player to the floor. They probably would get a technical, I don't even know if they would get a technical flagrant foul, plus definitely being ejected from the game. No doubt about it, ejected from the game. How Mabry doesn't get ejected after this is it's news to me. Maybe somebody in the comments can explain why she didn't get ejected, but whenever I see videos like this, especially when they're involving Caitlin Clark and just what's going on with her, what's surrounding her every time she plays the game, and the backlash, the negativity. I don't know what the feelings these women have for her or against her, but you could just see it in action, and when you see it, it just gets more and more crazy by the day.
And later on in the fourth quarter, Clark buries a three over Sheldon to give the Fever an insurmountable lead. And she's barking at Sheldon as she's going to the bench because the Sun are calling for time. And she's clearly saying something back at Sheldon, who watched the three get buried by Clark in a 20-point night, by the way. And Clark starts yelling at her own crowd and rallying them and throwing her arms up in the air and walking from her huddle, out of the huddle, across the floor to the other side of fans who are going absolutely nuts. And I'm thinking to myself, I swear to you, it is so rare in this business to see an athlete so plugged into her crowd that her play is plugged in like the Matrix to the sports universe that she is in the middle of. This is like J.J. Watt stuff in Houston. This is Marshawn Lynch stuff in Seattle. I'm serious. This is that sort of stuff.
And when you think about it in that aspect, like I always say, it's good for the WNBA. Yes, you don't want people to get in fights. You don't want players to get ejected. You don't want things like that. You don't want things to escalate to those type of areas. But I've never seen this much news, this many talk shows talk about the WNBA and women's basketball. And always, for the most part, the spearhead, who's at the center of attention when it comes to it, is Caitlin Clark. She's doing this. The ratings have to be up. There's no way the ratings are not up, because I swear in my life I've never seen so many people talk about the WNBA, and I love it. And she knows it. Like Rich Eisen just said, she's taking that energy, she's embracing it, and she's showcasing it to everybody. Anybody and everybody that wants to watch and wants to see her perform.
I called Taylor down to start watching this, my 11-year-old, because she wears Caitlin Clark stuff, Juju Watkins stuff. That's all she's doing these days. Honestly, it's just one shirt after another. It's either Caitlin or Juju Watkins. Every day. Every day. And Taylor's got some handle, and we show her all this sort of stuff. And I also don't mind showing her the intense competition here. Now, yeah, I did have to explain to her with 40 seconds to go, Sophie Cunningham playing football on Sheldon. And that started an absolute push and shoving moment that you got to look at the video. There's one.
It's great. I loved it.
Well, there's one security guard who he steps in and calmly keeps the throng of pushers, shovers away from the people sitting in the front row, and he's like looking at them calmly and saying, I've got this, you're okay. Because it's getting out of hand. And it took a long time for this thing to get unknotted. And I did have to explain to Taylor, like, that's a flagrant foul. She will be ejected for this. Sheldon's going to get her second tech. She's going to get the gate. And sure enough, 6 technical fouls, couple of ejections.
That's what people have been asking for, though. All last year when we saw the instances, yes, where Caitlin Clark was being pushed around, where players were doing a little bit more extra when it came to her. Her teammates weren't quote unquote backing her up. And that was what the talk was last year, is that who's stepping up for Caitlin Clark, who's being the enforcer, who's just showcasing that you're not going to just push her around and just do whatever you want towards her. Sophia Cunningham does this a little, no, this is not going to go on my watch. And this is, for the first time, we've actually seen one of Caitlin Clark's players step up, say this is not going to happen. We are not going to allow this. And it was beautiful to see. Like I said, no, we don't want people to get ejected and things like that. But we do want to see our teammates step up for us. Teammates look out for each other, and especially when this is the cash cow, the big money maker, about to be the star, if not the star of the league, and showing that you are not just going to manhandle her any way that you want to.
And you know what? It was just amazing. Like, if this was the NBA, it would be everywhere. But this isn't the NBA. The NBA sometimes doesn't match the intensity of what I'm seeing on the screen with the WNBA. That's a fact. It's a fact. And I'm thinking, watching this, are the officials up to the task? First of all, it took forever on both reviews. I don't know if you saw this.
No, I'm kind of catching up on
that
on
both
Twitter
reviews, the one after the eye poking and the shoving and the technicals, took forever. Yeah. And it took forever. It's like, listen, Sophie Cunningham, it's a hard foul. She just used both her arms and threw Sheldon to the floor. Mm-hmm. I mean, at any rate, it took forever for them to look at it. And I'm thinking what Stephanie White, the head coach of the Fever, who are, by the way, going to represent their conference in the Commissioner's Cup against the Minnesota Lynx. And this is the in-season tournament for the WNBA. The coach of the Fever just laid it out all on the line about the officiating not being up to snuff. Like, they need to catch up to a league that is getting more intense and physical to keep this somewhat in the rails here, because, I mean, we're not looking for roller derby here while we're enjoying the intensity. But just watch the soundbite, because it is a 3-shot. It was a wide shot. You could see Caitlin Clark sitting to her coach's left. Watch her reaction as Stephanie White goes in on the officials, because Clark was asked about picking up a tech, and White stepped in and said, I'll take the questions about officiating, and said this.
When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game. It's been happening all season long. This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right, out of fierce competition. So I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better. Everybody's getting better except the officials. So we got to find a way to remedy it.
Okay, Caitlin Clark.
I mean, you've heard every coach talk about it. So I don't know what the answer is.
So let's end it off with that, with the conference from the coach. Post-game, I love what she's saying. She's pretty much saying that they have to have new training for these officials. The speed of the women's game is getting faster. The women are getting stronger. They are more skilled. And the officials haven't caught up to it. Pretty much, she nailed it. They haven't caught up to it. So maybe they need new training. Maybe they need help from the NBA officials. I know people get on the NBA officials, but they do a decent job of refereeing their sport. But some type of help to just catch up to where this new generation of players are. I love that they're defending Caitlin Clark, and they're all saying things. They're not saying truly what they want to say. Like, deep down, they're trying to not beat around the bush, but they're trying to be politically correct with what they're saying. But in all honesty, they're saying that these other players are really just abusing, knocking around, manhandling our star player, and the officials aren't doing jack about it, aren't doing nothing about it. And if it continues to go on, you're going to see melees, you're going to see back and forth, you're going to see flagrants, you're going to see ejections. God forbid, there's going to be a fight. Somebody's really going to get hurt, and then people are going to say, oh, why is this allowed? Why is this going on? So the officials, it starts with them. They do have to police this better. They do have to find a common ground of what they are going to allow and what they're not going to allow, and just continue to improve on the WNBA and the women's game, women's basketball in general. What are your thoughts on this whole entire situation? You enjoy what's happening in the WNBA? Do you feel like it's not about the basketball, it's more about these type of altercations? You think it's a mix of everything, and this is just what happens when a growth of a league goes on, when it starts to grow, when it starts to get better? This is what's going to happen. You're going to see the on-court, you're going to see the off-court, you're going to see the shooting, you're going to see the altercations. Everything just in a nutshell is all going to come when people are starting to watch and view the game more. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time, this is Coach Kev, and I'm out of here. Peace.